My name is Michael Prasad and I'm with the Church Brand Guide podcast. Today I want to focus on a topic that is very important for churches, and that is having the right logo for your church. It's important. There's actually two things that I want to share with you about why it's really important that you have the right logo for your church. The first thing I want to share with you is that your logo is a representation of your vision. So your logo actually represents your vision in your community. And as people learn about your church, it should take them deeper into the meaning of that vision that you have for that community, that God has given you for your church. It helps people get on board with their time, their talent, and their resources to help you move that vision forward. The second reason I want to focus on for getting the logo right for your church is that it makes your church memorable. So when people see it, it should be sticky. It should be something that is memorable to them. So whether they need it now or they need it later, it's in their minds. This logo, this mark that they've seen, it's in their minds. It's top of mind when they need it the most. A long time ago, my wife and I, when we first got married, went to this parade. And I remember seeing a church in that parade, and they were handing out water as they were passing down the parade route. And I got one of those bottles. And many years later, we were looking for another church, and that church made our list to check out. And sure enough, we checked it out and we loved it, and now we go to that church. But it all started many years ago when they became sticky in our minds, and when we needed it, they came to the top of our list. They made our list of places to check out. That's how it works. You never know when people are going to need to remember who you are, and a great logo allows them to recall you in a very, very easy way. So there's a couple things, actually there's three things that I want to share with you that helps your logo be a successful logo. And we'll take a look right now at our logo, and you can see that the Church Brand Guide logo has a very simple feel to it. So the first thing that you need to know that makes an effective logo is that it's simple. It's designed in a very simplistic way. There's not gradients or pictures to it. It's very simple. It feels like a rubber stamp, something that you can place on anything and everything, and it just works. It's sticky and it's memorable. The second thing you need to know is that your logo needs to be a vector. So it needs to be designed in a vector-based program like Adobe Illustrator. So that way it's scalable. Vectors are basically mathematic equations that make up what you see. So it allows your logo to be scaled to whatever size you need it, which makes it extremely flexible. Do not design in Photoshop or anything that's pixel-based because you're going to run into issues down the road. The third thing you need to know about designing a great logo is that it needs to represent your vision. So we touched on that a little bit earlier, but the truth is your logo is going to be unique because it represents your vision. It's unique to you, it's unique to your church, and it's going to represent you well when it's unique to the vision. It's designed towards the vision of your church. Let me show you what I mean. Right now you can see the vision that we have for the Church Brand Guide podcast and blog. We were inspired by Matthew chapter 5, where Jesus tells us that we are to be a city on a hill. And we're not to be hidden. We're supposed to shine into this dark world. Well, in the background, you can see this dark circle representing this dark world. And then on the inside of that, we can see this shape. It kind of looks like a church. And it's brightly colored. It's kind of this golden yellow color. And that's representing the church shining in a dark world. That's what we believe. The church is the hope of the world, and it should shine brightly in this dark world. On the interior of that is this blue shape, kind of looks like a pencil. We believe that if a church is strategic and they really lean into their vision, they have a compelling vision, they're strategic about it, then they can shine very brightly in a very dark world. So that's what our vision is, and our logo represents that. The logo is very unique to us because it represents the vision that we have been given. So let me show you the process. I want to share with you about the process because I think it's going to help you as a church leader, as a church creative, or even just as a creative person helping churches to understand how we come up with these unique logos that represent the vision well. So the first step to the process is knowing the process. So there's 6 steps to it. The first one is the interview, and then we go to the sketch or research part of things. Interviews where we just talk with people and we find out what the vision is and where they want to go, where they've been. And then we take that information, start to sketch and research different ways to communicate that. The third thing is that we take those sketches, move them to a computer to start to design. And then the fourth thing is to refine that design into one or two options that are going to work well. Then we present those options to the client, and it's very strategic how we present it, because it needs to be accepted in a very deep way, meaningful way to the client. And then after that, after we've locked in the logo and we've decided that that's what we want to go with, the client's happy with it, then we create a brand guide that will then showcase that brand in the future in the proper ways. So this is our questionnaire that we use. We've developed this questionnaire, and it helps us to ask 18 questions to get the right information so that we can design a very unique logo towards the vision of the church. In fact, this is actual questionnaire that we have. It's multiple pages, 18 questions that are very probing and asking about the history of the church and the future and how you want to communicate to people in your community. And so we go through that, and with those answers, we're able to then create a unique mark. So it starts there, and then we go to the research phase where it looks like this. We get out this piece of graph paper, start to sketch on it different ideas and concepts based off of the answers that we were given in that questionnaire. So in the upper left of this screen, you can see that there are these key words that we've pulled out from our answers that we received from the church leaders. And we're going to start to sketch ideas around those keywords, and at the same time we're researching those ideas. So we might go into Google search and do something like, there's a word right here that says leader. So we might put a search term in there for leader logo or leader icon, and then pull up Google Images and start to look at ideas of how other people have represented that well. And we'll start to put down some sketches. A lot of times we'll combine ideas from two different concepts and start to merge them and just kind of work them together. So this research phase begins to develop, and it displays itself in these sketches. I like sketching because it's a freehand. It's my hand connected to my brain, and it allows me to just put down on paper what I'm thinking. It's very free-flowing. I feel it's very creative and helps me to be very unique in the results that I come up with when I'm designing. So once we get something that we like, then we're going to move to the next step. Before I show you the next step, though, let me show you. This link is an organization of churches. This is the unique logo that we ended up coming up with for those guys, just going through this process, unique to them. The next phase is when we take our favorite sketches and we move to the computer and we start to design that out. This is a brainstorming session where we've taken some of our favorite sketches and we start to design with them. We could create fonts and then start to make marks that represent the organization, and then that evolves. So this particular document started in the upper right, and we kind of moved to the left and ended up with some things that were more solid towards the left-hand side of the screen. In fact, I'll zoom in a little bit, and this is kind of where we landed. Once we got something that we were happy with and thought was going to work, that's when we moved to the refinement stage. That's where we take the logo and then we look at it on its own and start to refine the logo itself. So this is what we ended up with for this particular church. Their vision was to be this church that goes beyond the walls into the world. In fact, they have about 8 to 12 missions trips that they take per year. So they're very mission trip focused, even in their own community. And so this logo represents that vision. And it's simplified down into the very simplest elements so that it becomes a sticky mark for this church. Once we have this logo that everybody is happy with, the client is happy with, they've signed off on it, then we'll create these collateral materials, so the letterhead, business card, and envelope, to begin to show what this logo will look like as we play it out, what the branding will look like as this goes one step further. So this church, we were able to design all these different elements around the logo that they liked. And then what we do is we present this logo in a couple different ways. This is one way, and then another way would be maybe on a t-shirt or maybe on a building, something that's a real-life application. And what I like to do is this is how we will introduce the new mark to people in general. We'll show them this type of a look, and then we'll show them a practical look. So as we begin to unveil this logo to larger groups of people within the organization, they aren't designers, so this helps them to get their head wrapped around how this logo is going to work for the organization moving forward. Just help them down that process, that road of like getting their heads wrapped around the new idea, the new concept that we've come up with. So once all this is in place, once everybody's happy and they're excited about the new logo and about the new direction, and it fits the vision, all those different things, then what we do is solidify the logo into a branding document. And it looks kind of like this. So we take the logo and we create some rules on how to use it, how not to use it. We identify what the color values are in CMYK, RGB, and Pantone, and what fonts are good with the logo. So not only what the logo fonts are, but then what fonts can be used with the logo as you create publications or the website and anything else moving forward. We even create different variations of the logo so that you can have like a smaller version or maybe a favicon version that can go on the website. So the branding document allows us to take that logo and make it functional moving forward. So if anybody in the future wants to use this logo for anything, then they know the guidelines on how to create a consistent brand based on what we've created. So that is the process of creating a logo, and that's the process I want to share with you because it's important that you get this process right so that the logo that you end up with for your church represents your church extremely well. It's your church logo is the cornerstone of your branding. If your logo is exciting and vibrant, then the rest of your branding as you move forward from your website, brochures, banners, anything else is going to be exciting and vibrant. If your logo is very elegant and feels very comforting, then that's the feeling that's going to happen moving forward with your brand. So you have to identify those things. Take the time up front to go through a good, thorough question and answer session so that your designer can design with those things in mind, and in the end come up with a result that represents your vision in a very unique way that's going to be sticky in the minds of your target audience. Hopefully that's helpful to you, and that you can use this information to evaluate the logo you might have right now, or maybe evaluate what the logo needs to be moving forward. So if you haven't started your church yet, then this gives you the information you need so that you can get the right people in place to design the proper logo for your church. Thanks for joining me on this video, and I'll see you next time.